In 1974, McDonald's founder Ray Kroc addressed an MBA class at the University of Texas. After the lecture, he joined a group of students at their favorite local hangout for beers. Ray asked the group a question: "What business am I in?" The students laughed, assuming he was joking. When he asked again, a student shouted that everyone in the world knew he was in the hamburger business. Ray chuckled. He told the class his business was real estate. His business plan used the sale of hamburger franchises to acquire the land underneath them. He knew that the specific location of each franchise was the most significant factor in its success, making his organization one of the largest owners of real estate in the world. Financial struggle often begins when people confuse their profession, making the hamburgers, with their actual business. Scholastic education prepares youth to get good jobs by developing professional skills. Study cooking, become a chef. Study law, become an attorney. You become what you study. The trap is that many people spend their lives minding someone else's business. They work to make the company owners and shareholders rich, while their own financial foundation remains neglected. When the middle class feels financial pressure, the standard response is to work overtime, seek a promotion, or go back to school to secure a better-paying job. This reliance on a single paycheck is a high-risk position. As company pension plans disappear and corporate downsizing becomes common, the lack of a personal asset column leaves workers entirely dependent on their employers for survival. Escaping this cycle requires shifting focus away from a professional salary and toward building a self-sustaining engine of wealth. Building wealth requires knowing the exact difference between an asset and a liability. This is the foundational rule of financial literacy. An asset puts money into your pocket. This diagram shows how cash flow is generated directly by the asset, increasing your total income without requiring additional labor. Conversely, a liability takes money out of your pocket. It creates a recurring expense that drains your available cash. This creates a significant misunderstanding regarding homeownership. Because a primary residence requires mortgage payments, taxes, and maintenance, it functions as a liability. When families treat their homes as their primary investment, every pay raise is often used to purchase a larger house or finance a higher lifestyle. This creates a cycle of debt where expenses rise as fast as income. The rich acquire assets, while the poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. Real assets fall into specific categories, starting with paper assets like stocks, bonds, and notes. These are income-generating vehicles with ready markets. Other assets include income-producing real estate, royalties from intellectual property like music or patents, and businesses that do not require the owner's physical presence. Once a dollar is placed in the asset column, it becomes a tireless employee. It works 24 hours a day and can continue to produce income for generations. True capitalists mitigate risk by surrounding themselves with these self-sustaining assets, ensuring their livelihood is no longer tied to a single employer. You can start building this foundation while keeping your daytime job. The objective is to use your profession to fund the purchase of real assets. There is a distinct difference in how the wealthy and the middle class spend their money. The middle class often buys luxuries like big houses or jewelry first, usually on credit, to look rich. Buying a luxury on credit turns that item into a financial burden. Instead of providing enjoyment, the debt required to maintain it often creates resentment and long-term stress. In contrast, the rich buy luxuries last. They focus on building their asset column first, until the income generated by those assets is large enough to pay for the luxuries. For example, instead of getting a loan for a new car, a wealthy individual might wait years for a real estate portfolio to grow. They only purchase the car when the passive cash flow from the properties is enough to cover the entire cost. Financial intelligence is measured by the size of your asset column, not your paycheck. Stop spending your life building someone else's business and start minding your own.